Hi everyone, my name is Leanne and today I'm going to be doing the book addiction tag. I saw this on Elaine Howland's channel and I'll leave her video linked down below, as well as the original creator if I can find that video. This is a pretty self-explanatory tag. It's all about how I am addicted to books, and the first question is, what is the longest amount of time you can go without picking up a book? So I'm not someone that will read one book and then finish it and then start a new one. I am someone that there will always be like overlap with what I'm reading. So I will start one book and like halfway through that book I'll start another one, and like it's kind of this ongoing cycle where I'm never not reading at least something, or at least that's what it's like ordinarily. In these strange times, I have found myself going a couple of days without having anything on the go, which is very, very weird for me. But it has never been more than like 2-3 days max. Question 2 is, how many books do you carry on your person, whether they are physical or digital, at one time? So back in the days when we were out and about, just 1 or 2 physical books. If I knew I was probably going to finish one book on, say, my journey to somewhere, I would definitely have another book with me on the way back. And then between audiobooks, ebooks, books I've got from NetGalley, well, quite a lot really. A few years ago I went through a real phase when I first kind of got into ebooks of just buying like everything, and now I have so many ebooks that I basically don't have any intention of reading, and I don't even really think of them as part of my TBR in the same way I do with my physical books. Maybe I should do some sort of cull and just be like, look, I'm never going to read this, so why is it taking up space on my screen? Question 3 is, do you keep every book you receive, or are you happy to pass them on? It's a mix really. I'd like to keep all of the books that I either really enjoyed or I feel like kind of represent me as a reader in some way. So like books about both sport and like gender and sexuality, even if I didn't absolutely love that particular book, I tend to keep it on my shelves just because I think it's kind of one of my like slightly more niche reading interests that not everyone would have in their library. I used to want to keep a copy of every single book I'd ever read, which is unsustainable when I'm reading well over 100 books every year. That's just crazy. So I do now unhaul books quite regularly, and it's just really nice. I used to really focus on selling them, but now I just kind of give them away. Question 4 is, how long would you ordinarily spend in a bookshop when you visit? Honestly, it could be hours. I mean, obviously it depends on a number of factors. You know, if I know what I want, then I can kind of just go in and get it, have a quick kind of browse, and that's it. But like, for example, say around my birthday and Christmas, if I've been given some book tokens and I don't really know what I want yet, I just want to go in and have a look, there can be like an hour plus. Chapters in Dublin is probably one of my favourite bookshops that I've ever been in, and when I go there I could genuinely spend like 2 or 3 hours because it's so massive. I also don't know if I'm like the best or the worst person to go book shopping with, because if I'm with someone I will lose complete focus on myself and just like go into bookseller mode, and I will be like, have you read this? Have you read this? Have you read this? Question 5 is, how much time do you actually spend reading per day? I'm really not sure about this. So I was going into the office, it definitely would have been over an hour every day. What I'm finding about my lifestyle at the moment is that I'm not really doing much reading during the week, and then at the weekend I'm just reading for hours and hours and hours. But actually, my goal for this week is to get back into the habit of reading at least an hour per day. Some combination of either reading like half an hour before and after work, or like half an hour during my lunch break, like some sort of thing like that. I need to start building new habits around my reading while working from home, and I know I can do that because obviously like before I didn't have a commute and I still read loads, so I was making the time for it. That kind of goes into question 6, which is, where does the task of picking up a book appear on your daily to-do list? Normally at the start and the end of a work day or during a lunch break, which, as I just said, is a habit I need to get back into building. Question 7, how many books do you think you own in total, including ebooks? Let's check Goodreads. I've always said that my Goodreads is almost accurate. Like, I do try and keep it up to date, but there are just so many books that sometimes something falls through the cracks. According to my Goodreads, I have 536 physical books, so this is between my mum's house where I am now and my house in London, which I'm quite happy with that number, to be honest. Ebooks, this is not going to be accurate, I don't think. I reckon it's probably like 200-ish ebooks, including what I've read and what I haven't read. But the ebooks that I've bought, I don't necessarily even think about as part of my TBR. Bar one exception, which is a book that was written by one of my best friends, I don't think I've bought an ebook since maybe 2017, 2018. My reading tastes were totally different then. There would be some books that I would be interested in reading that I bought back then, but I just don't really think of it as part of my TBR. And when I'm reading books digitally, I want to prioritize the books that I've got from NetGalley. So my ebooks I don't even really like think about as having, which is really weird. Question 8 is, how often do you bring up books in conversation? I don't think I actually do. Now obviously there are a lot of environments that I'm in that books are a natural part of the conversation, like booktube, or when I'm at work, or if I'm talking with my master's friends, they come up quite often because I guess that's one of like the core things that we share in common. But like, I think outside of that, I don't think I actually bring them up that often, even within those situations. And in like non-bookish communities, it's normally like people bring them up to me because like they know I'm a bookish person. It's not normally me bringing it up. And you know, sometimes I kind of don't like want to be talking about books all the time because obviously they are such a big part of like those 3 other sections of my life. Sometimes it's nice to talk about something else, and sometimes I kind of feel like it puts me into work mode a little bit when someone starts talking about books in like a casual conversation. Like I immediately go into like bookseller publisher mode. Question 9 is, what is the biggest book in terms of page count you have finished? I think this is probably Order of the Phoenix, but I'm gonna check Goodreads. Oh no, it's Middlemarch. Of course it's Middlemarch. If you don't know, Middlemarch by George Eliot is my favourite classic of all time. If you would be interested in me doing a video on the longest books I have ever read, do leave me a comment down below and I'll see if I can do that. If they aren't, I'll just Harry Potter. Question 10, is there a book that you had to get your hands on against all odds? No. Like, I guess the Penguin English Library books are probably the closest way I could answer this. I do collect all of the Penguin English Library books, as you can see behind me, and I would like to have the full collection one day. It's kind of like a long-term life goal. Like, I'm in sort of no rush to complete this. But there are definitely some of those that aren't in circulation anymore. Like, you wouldn't be able to get them from a bookshop and they can get quite expensive for that reason. One of the rarer ones that I do have is Jude the Obscure, but there are lots of other ones that I think will be a bit of a struggle to get my hands on, but it's a problem for future Leanne. Question 11 is a book you struggled to finish but you refused to DNF. For me, this is White Teeth by Zadie Smith. I think White Teeth is a really accomplished novel. Did I enjoy it? I think there is so much of value and importance, and it's really important to try and like understand the themes in that novel. I think managing to put all of the themes that Zadie Smith has put into this novel is really impressive, but I think the vibe I kind of got from it was that it was her first novel and she had so many things that she wanted to say, so many, and she put them all in this book, and a lot of the themes weren't given the space to breathe. So I felt a little bit like there was too much in that book, like there was too much to try and digest. It could have been like 3 or 4 other novels. So it was a real struggle for me to finish, and as I said, I do struggle with long books, but I did persevere. Question 12 are, what are your 3 main book goals for the year? I honestly can't remember how many books I said I wanted to get my TBR down to at the start of the year, but because of the whole lockdown situation, I haven't really been buying books, so I do think it's very, very possible that I will get my TBR to below 100 books by the end of the year, and I am so hyped. I would like to read the entirety of the Women's Prize shortlist, which does include the Hilary Mantel books. What are they called? The Cromwell series, Wolf Hall, Bring Up the Bodies, and The Mirror and the Light, which again is actually another kind of positive thing for my reading that has come from the lockdown, because if the prize was announced the winner was announced when it was originally scheduled to, I wouldn't have read the Cromwell series. I just wouldn't have had the time. But it's now going to be announced in September, so I have no excuses and I need to stop being intimidated. Everyone says these books are amazing, so hopefully I think they're amazing too. And obviously, I'm also really excited to read the other books on the shortlist that I haven't read yet. I've already read Girl, Woman, Other and 1,000 Ships. I won't really be talking about who I think should win the prize, because I work for Pan Macmillan, who publish 1,000 Ships, so I just don't really think it's right for me to talk about it like that. But I am going to read the shortlist and talk about my thoughts on all of the books that I read like independently. And my third goal is to do more reading vlogs. I've done 2 this year. I do enjoy them, but I'm just kind of still figuring out how I like to do them, what's interesting and what isn't. Like, it's definitely like a big learning curve for me, but one that I'm definitely enjoying. Let's tag some people, shall we? I never tag people, I'm bloody useless. So I'm gonna tag Lily Eleanor Reads, I'm gonna tag Lauren Wade, and I'm going to tag What Victoria Read. I would love to hear your answers to these questions. Or anyone that has a channel, do consider yourself tagged. And if you don't have a YouTube channel, let me know what your answers would be down below in the comments. I would love to have a chat with you guys. I hope you're doing well, and I will talk to you in my next video.